Twat, Scotland. In fact, there are two twats, one on the Shetland Islands and one on the Orkney Islands. It could be said Scotland has its fair share of twats. Sneak cop. Are you nominating one city? There are two? Walla. Cucamonga. Seattle. Twat, Scotland. In fact, there are two twats, one on the Shetland Islands and one on the Orkney Islands. It could be said Scotland has its fair share of twats. King of Prussia is just known for its gigantic mall. The village of Ducking, Austria changed its name to Fugging in 2021. The only Welsh word I know how to pronounce. One day I'll visit there and it'll be worth it. Amazing. The town changed its name for all time so that it still carries that name even though few people remember the show after which it's named. And it did all this and wasn't paid a dime. How much economic activity did the increased publicity it received for 1 weekend generate? https://nm. Wikipedia.org/wiki/truth or consequences New Mexico #history. I think it was like US Highway 666 here. The big reason was sign theft rather than bad connotations. And it's not a cool city at all. Its best days were now about 70-100 years ago. The hot springs are interesting, but that's about it. Maybe there is a Phil Spiderman. Oh mate, I've done some nasty cold military exercises at the Hat Suffield, loved it. I spent 3 hours learning how to say this. Best 3 hours ever spent. Flin Flon. Make sure you get the passport stamp. Blue Ball, Pennsylvania Virginville, Pennsylvania Bird in Hand, Pennsylvania. Sandwich, Massachusetts, USA. Why is the name Seattle cool? I was just in Toadsuck, Arkansas. Burn that seat. I've always been partial to Maracaibo for the same reason. I feel like Canada has a bunch of interesting town names lol. Moosejaw, Dildo, Stoner, Vulcan, Dead Man's Flats, Blow Me Down, Bulls Creek, Crotch Lake, just to name a few lol. Come by chance as well. There's also Sneed, California. https://youtube.me/mydfwflq if anyone wants to learn how to pronounce this. Only takes 30 seconds. Hell, Michigan. So what you're saying is that you weren't a happy stick. It has 4 damned LS in a row. Place of origin of Cactus Jack BTW. Newfoundland has all kinds of fun places. https://www.youtube.com/watch. V = 5 SSRM LGNW. Not too far off from Rough and Ready, Ka. Hey, I'm pretty sure your cat jumped in on your keyboard. Carrying Place, on I never in all my life thought I would see Carrying Place referenced on Reddit. Came here to say this. Hackensack, Cadillac, Font du Lac, Davenport, and fantastic old SNL skit about that. I grew up one town over on Cape Cod, and the name Sandwich is so normalized to me. Summer tourists from out of state always get a laugh out of it, especially the police cars, because there was a meme about it. But like most towns in Mass, it took its name from an English city back when we were a British colony. All things considered, Sandwich, MA is a very nice place. Pillow, Pennsylvania. Beaver, Panic, Hazard, Pillow, Chinchilla. Pennsylvania had them all. King of Prussia. The hat is pretty nice, especially in summer. I usually drive down from Calgary a few times just to hang out. At knife. Lame. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. There's a long tradition of naming new cities after famous cities from the settlers' homeland or from literature. Georgia is by Russia, New London City, Manhattan Cass, Paris TX, Philadelphia is in Greece, Memphis is in Egypt, Toledo is in Spain, Athens, Georgia, Rome, Georgia, etc. What about Funner Caught? And for conquering all of the lizards in Gamehenge. Never heard of it until I had to send an order there. Sandwich Police Law. Kind of like how The Real Housewives of was a play on Desperate Housewives. Never did I ever think that Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan would be getting a shout-out anywhere. Next to Ham. Great episode of Doctor Who. Condom, France. Glitch, France. Basthead, Sweden. Social media. Especially using your family and kids as content. Backing loads of degrees. Social media. Especially using your family and kids as content. Bagging loads of degrees. Exactly. I'm not a social person, so I'd actually prefer it if the least amount of people possible know me. Also, consider exactly what they are famous for, making films or being on TV. Is that what we really value above other professions? That AMT that saved your dad in a car accident is a nobody. Beaut, oh my god. It's Tom Cruise. Surprisingly, some scholars have found a link between this issue and wealth inequality. Consider an individual earning $50,000 a year. They are likely to spend most of their income on essentials and a few luxuries. If they don't have a family or significant debt, they might manage to save $4,000, indicating an 8% savings rate. On the other hand, wealthier individuals often struggle to spend a majority of their income simply because there isn't enough that they wish to buy. Take a person making $500,000 a year. They may spend $350,000, outspending their less affluent counterpart sevenfold. Despite this, they still manage to save around 30% of their income. People with a knack for finance rarely let their savings lie idle, preferring to invest productively. However, when wealth inequality becomes too extreme, the money-seeking investments can overwhelm traditional, reliable avenues. This scenario played out prior to the 2007 financial crisis. There was so much excess money hunting for reliable investments that safe mortgage-based debts ran out. This led some unscrupulous lenders to seek riskier borrowers, creating more debt to sell to investors. This issue isn't confined to housing. Consider a scenario where a store clerk offers you a credit card with a 15% discount on your purchase. You might wonder why a store would delay receiving immediate cash in exchange for debt. The reason is that the large pool of money financing that card is desperate to find consumers to in-debt. It's worth noting that stores typically don't manage the debt of their branded cards, specialized banks or investment firms do. As more money is concentrated, investment firms must develop more complex strategies to derive value from an increasingly cash-strapped, broad population. It just so happens that luxury brands are becoming more important in this equation. These brands thrive on the perception and hype cultivated in the hyper-comparative world of social media. People might buy high-end brands like Prada and Gucci to mitigate social anxiety, avoid feeling inferior, or confirm their superiority. However, average people are only able to act on their impulses because creditors are so willing to give loans with relative ease. The sad part is that although wealthy people occasionally buy iconic brands like Prada and Gucci, an NYU study revealed that they tend to prefer less flashy luxury goods such as the unbranded Birkin bag. Subtlety, it seems, is seen as more exclusive and elegant among the upper echelons. You're not going to see many lifestyle chasers buy the truly envied luxury products, though. The subtlety of these goods undermines the primary reason poor individuals purchase ostentatious status symbols to project an image of accomplishment to their peers. However, as flashy brands become more associated with debt financing and disconnected from the exclusive wealth people are trying to project, the people who buy these brands are perceived more and more as desperate, the exact opposite of the image they are hoping to cultivate. This has ruined relationships for me. I don't like platforms like these where people can see where I am, who I'm with, what I'm up to, etc. I've had a stalker, and now I'm very private about what I allow people to know about my life. My husband's parents could not respect this and had the nerve to argue about how it's their life they are showing and that I'm in it. These were pictures of my wedding. They said it was their son, therefore their life, and I needed to get over it. My husband had to threaten the relationship to get the photos taken down. They didn't care I was hyperventilating and crying. Completely changed my view on them. They never apologized, and they still pushed boundaries with social media. So my husband and I decided to cut them off if they couldn't respect us, with the caveat that a cultural fixation on royalty was also a waste of time. Celebrity has switched with so-called nobility in an equally unhealthy way. It's actually been fascinating to watch people go crazy with all this luxury stuff in the past 10 years. You know, acting like you're rich on Instagram and all the YouTube videos about it and so on. Incidentally, I also just watched a documentary called The Age of Cheap Money or something rather, which was about the quantitative easing and money printing that started after the 2008 crisis. Wondering if these two are related. I deleted my Facebook in 2016 after my mom died. My aunt had blasted the news that my mom had passed within hours, and my little brother and sister had to find out that their mom was dead from a ducking Facebook post. After ripping her several new dummies, I deleted everything and basically went off the grid. I haven't missed anything about social media, but other people have a hard time with my decision. Apparently, it's sus or a red flag when not everyone and their monkey's uncle knows when you last took a stick. People with status. That stick runs deep actually, like behavior exhibited in other primates deep. https://pubmed/NCBI/NLM/NAGOV/15,797,023/ Concert here in Chicago this summer is almost sold out on both nights. I definitely wouldn't say she's been thrown away like trash. She is older now, so she's no longer the hot new thing, but she still has a massive fan base. The media is pretty horrible to her though. That's very true. Supreme Edition? Most wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Most are completely fake and messed up. I don't know why people idolize them when they have hairdressers, chefs, and stylists plus professional makeup artists. Agreed. So much of it is ugly too. Supreme Deluxe Omega Edition. So absurd to me. I don't get wanting to walk around with a brand name plastered on your shirt/purse/whatever. Like it doesn't even look good. It's just an advertisement, and a lame one at that lame. A plain t-shirt is so much more appealing than one with Nike on it. I can't imagine how narcissistic one must be to maintain social status. Such hard work, and for what? So you can seem more important than the guy next to you. Like why you got downvoted BC. This is a very valid statement. Yet Reddit worships Keanu and DeVito and Jack Black. TBH, I don't know anything about Madonna. How was she thrown away? Very much agree. It isn't social media. It's the way people use social media. Apparently, it's sus or a red flag when not everyone and their monkey's uncle knows when you last took a stick. Oh, duck me, I loathe this attitude. If me not being on FB is a red flag for someone, then that is a bird flag for me. This is starting to get to me more and more. Why do so many people care about other people's business? As long as they aren't in your way, it shouldn't matter. I think we can live so much more peacefully if we stopped caring. I can't help but feel bad for Madonna. She was on top of the world. I couldn't imagine going through that lifestyle being thrown away like yesterday's trash. That sucks, I'm so sorry. I hope they reach out with respect in the future and help heal the breach. They could reach out to a therapist that could explain current thinking and methods in respect in relationships. Tess would answer. It's nowhere near the same. It's just nicknames and avatars like it used to be before Facebook instilled this idea of ditching anonymity. So nowadays you can find out most of the things about anyone in few clicks. It's a fair point. Indeed, many people here exhibit some personal things to strangers, which they should be careful about. I may be technical. You're on Reddit, and people reveal so much personal stick here, they just don't show a face usually. This 100% this. I actually tend to gravitate towards people who either rarely post on or outright don't have social media these days. To me, if you have to post about yourself nearly every day, that denotes a level of vanity and / or need for attention that I don't feel like associating with. Disagree. I love high-quality stuff and would rather buy that over fast fashion, but so much as ostentatious and vulgar brand names should not be detected. Really? I think Keanu is a pretty cool guy based on his interactions, and I've upvoted pics of him taking the subway. But I don't religiously follow tabloid news and obsess over where he had his morning bagel so I can go buy the same thing. And I don't really care what brand of t-shirt he wears. If he suddenly started wearing denim jackets again, I'm sure as hell not gonna go buy one. Aliaza plus Civiliano Cortez branded flip-flops came in the mail today. 3 Now I'm never going to wear these $700 flip-flops ever. Bruce Jenner just had sex change / what happened to minding your business, and it's just sad that celebrities have to deal with this objectification / not even a song could tell people to leave them alone. Honestly, Caitlyn Jenner is very, very strong. I'd end my life if people talked about me the way she was talked about. / guess what Robert De Niro said about vaccines. This is what the First Lady wore on June 4. This year the First Lady is almost always a nobody. Why so many people value them. Any and all news stories made about them were made to show the middle-class women who they could be. Anyone who has to focus on celebrities typically isn't happy with their own life. Agree totally. But the Reddit status is so important, isn't it? Depends of where you live. Some countries / cultures pay a lot of importance to it. Seems like an underdeveloped mindset to me, but I'm sure they will grow out of it as they develop. And be liberties. Honestly, some jumped up little twonk from Essex / Chelsea / Yorkshire delete as applicable having teenage squabbles with each other about who ate the last kick / ate Caitlyn out / outed Gary delete as applicable. What the actual duck? Get off my telly, get a job and get bent. Specifically the Kardashians. I have an infant and a toddler, and the battles I need to fight regularly to keep their image and presence off of the internet is absolutely ludicrous. I've won, so far, but it's unreal how hard I have to fight to give them anonymity. Most from what I've seen are just normal people. Only things they are good at is acting cool in front of a camera. Well, to be fair, Tom Cruise does some pretty rad stick. I'm convinced he's trying to die in the most spectacular way BC. It's his only option to get away from the Church of Scientology. Seriously, they can name every single member of the Kardashians and describe their lives in excruciating detail, but they can't name the German dictator from the 30s. I know, right? I guarantee the average American wouldn't know about any of the banks that failed in the past months, SVB being one, and the effects it had in the American economy, but they can name every celebrity's relationships. It's really stupid. Apparently Reddit killing third-party apps. I didn't even know about the third-party apps until this whole thing blew up. I think the regular app works just fine. There are these other apps that people use to browse Reddit besides the dedicated Reddit app that Reddit has made, third-party apps. Apparently, soon they'll make it so you have to pay for those apps through a subscription or something. I'd enough to further look into it, but a lot of Redditors seem to care about it. Some subs are even temporarily shutting down or permanently in protest. I predict those changes will go through. Some subs will shut down, then they'll reopen again, and after some time everyone will forget and move on to the next important thing. I don't know what that means.